In 2012, the Arizona Coyotes were one of the biggest surprise stories in hockey. A team that many expected to struggle suddenly went on an incredible playoff run. They won the Pacific Division, knocked off powerhouse teams, and reached the Western Conference Final for the first time in franchise history. They were just 3 wins away from the Stanley Cup Final. But what should have been the start of a new era quickly turned into the beginning of one of the most chaotic downfalls in the National Hockey League. The 2011-2012 season was magical for the Coyotes. Led by longtime captain Shane Doan, the team played a disciplined defensive system under head coach Dave Tippett. But the biggest story was goaltender Mike Smith. Smith was unbelievable that season, posting one of the best performances by a Coyotes goalie in franchise history. And the roster was also full of underrated players like Keith Yandel, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Radim Vrbata, and Ray Whitney. They weren't superstars, but they did play the perfect system. And in the playoffs, the Coyotes shocked the hockey world. First, they eliminated the Chicago Blackhawks in a dramatic 6-game series. Then, they defeated the Nashville Predators to advance to the Western Conference Final. And for the first time ever, the Coyotes were one step away from the Stanley Cup Final. But standing in their way was the red-hot Los Angeles Kings. In that series, it would change everything. The Kings were unstoppable that year. They dominated in the playoffs and ultimately defeated the Coyotes in 5 games. And soon after, as we all know, the Los Angeles Kings went on to win the Stanley Cup. For Arizona fans, the loss was disappointing, but there was still hope. The Coyotes had a strong roster, they had a star goalie, and they had momentum. But behind the scenes, the franchise was already facing serious problems. For years, the Coyotes struggled with ownership instability. In fact, the team had previously been owned by the league itself, after financial issues forced the previous owner into bankruptcy. Even during the 2012 playoff run, the franchise's long-term future was uncertain. Eventually, the team was sold to businessman Andrew Borroway, but the damage had already been done. The organization struggled with financial limitations, low attendance, and uncertainty about the future. And that instability began to show on the ice. Now, the Coyotes' success in 2012 was built on a veteran core, but the problem is that core didn't last long. Players began leaving in free agency, retiring, or just declining in age. Key contributors like Whitney and Vrbata eventually moved on, and without that depth scoring, the team struggled to stay competitive. Now, Mike Smith, he remained solid, but he could not carry the team forever. By the mid-2010s, the Coyotes had fallen near the bottom of the standings, and it was clear that a rebuild was needed. Arizona began focusing on young talent and draft picks, and some of those promising young players did arrive, including Clayton Keller, Dylan Strome, Austin Krause. But the problem was, rebuilding in Arizona, it proved to be extremely difficult. Prospects didn't always develop. Coaching changes created instability as well, and the team struggled to attract big-name free agents. But through all this, another setback hit the franchise. In 2020, the Coyotes were punished by the NHL for conducting illegal fitness testing with draft prospects. The league would strip Arizona of multiple draft picks, including a first-round selection. For a rebuilding team, losing picks like that was devastating, and it set the franchise back even further. By the early 2020s, the future of the Arizona Coyotes was hanging by a thread. The team had already moved out of Gila River Arena into Mullet Arena, which was a college arena that seated fewer than 5,000 fans. While the intimate setting created a unique atmosphere, it was never meant to be a long-term solution for an NHL franchise. Ownership attempted to secure a new arena and entertainment district in Tempe, Arizona, but the proposal was rejected by voters. And without a permanent arena plan in place, the franchise's long-term future in Arizona became increasingly uncertain. Then, fast forward to 2024, it all changed. The NHL approved the sale of the Coyotes hockey operations to a group led by Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith. The team would be relocated to Salt Lake City, and after 3 decades in Arizona, the Coyotes were officially gone. In 2012, the Arizona Coyotes were less than 4 wins away from the Stanley Cup final. They had a strong core, a respected coach, and one of the most exciting playoff runs in franchise history. But over the next decade, everything slowly unraveled. Ownership instability, roster decline, arena disputes, and failed rebuilds pushed the franchise further and further into chaos, and eventually, the story that began with hope in the desert ended somewhere completely different. For Arizona fans, the 2012 run now feels something even more significant. It wasn't just the best season in Coyotes history, it was the final peak before the franchise's long fall and eventual departure from the desert. Thank you guys so much for watching. I want to hear from all the hockey fans out there in the comments down below their favorite Arizona or Phoenix Coyotes memory. I know there's not a whole lot, but I just want to hear what some people have to say. Also, make sure to leave a like on the video if you have not yet, and subscribe to the Zuck TV YouTube channel, and also ring the bell to be notified of when I post next. I want to do more types of these videos in the future, so make sure you ring that bell to be notified of when those videos come out. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. Peace.